There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
So a couple of weeks ago, I get a note from the Wonger, Mr. Wong, and we're going to meet with the Rose. The Wongs and the Rose and the Riceys are going to go to Rudolph's barbecue. Woo-hoo! We're going to go hit Rudolph's. And then something came up, and one of the parties couldn't make it, so we put it off. Guess what?
Supposed to do it tonight?
Rudolph's has closed.
Oh.
Rudolph's barbecue, after 43 years, has closed. And apparently they're already closed. Rudolph's Barbecue has been Franklin and Lindale for 43 years. The rumors are true. We have decided to close our doors as of yesterday. Why didn't they give people a week notice?
At least say, hey, anybody from the former golf show, if you guys want to come over and hang out.
Thank you for 43 wonderful years. Pepito, we lost Pepitos this summer, a few months ago. And now this is hard to take. Now, I got to admit, I haven't eaten in Rudolph's that much in recent years.
Maybe that's the problem.
Used to be regulars, though. They've always had the parking problem. Right, they're on Lindale and Franklin. You got there's a lot across the way, but not a lot of spots. And you used to be able to park in a bus stop, but you can't do that anymore. They'll tow you.
The meter maids are there.
But they had a very distinctive rib, and of course they had the onion rings that looked like hubcaps, and the big old onion rings, and a fantastic place. And I feel bad now. The original owner was Jimmy Theris. A good Greek.
St. Clair Broiler.
A good Greek. Was he St. Clair Broiler? Well, he was
Jimmy
Theros.
Yeah, Theros.
Jimmy Theros. He owned in downtown Minneapolis, he owned Jimmy's Lemon Tree, which was kind of a breakfast joint on Hennepin.
Okay, I had not.
Right off Hennepin.
All right.
And then he opened Rudolph's after that. He opened Rudolph's. But Jimmy's Lemon Tree, we used to, when I was a copy boy, and then later on, when I was in St. Paul,
right,
we'd sometimes go over there. We'd close down Luigi's, go over to Jimmy's Lemon Tree to have breakfast with and all the bookies and the hookers and the nurses.
Everybody just blended
and the cops all had breakfast at Jimmy's place. Jimmy's
Food
Lemon
bringing you to all
Lemon Tree, yes,
together.
And you'd go there and you'd make it from Luigi's to downtown, and you'd park on Hennepin Avenue, at 2 in the morning.
Way late,
2 in the morning. Nobody, you could park anywhere you want to. And we'd all sit in there and BS with the gamblers. But the great Bud Armstrong was a pal with because they'd call up and get the scores from Bud when they'd call the desk, and Bud knew all these guys. And we'd stop over there and have breakfast with these guys. The competition between the two sports staffs was so fierce that we'd drink and eat breakfast together.
Right. And spill secrets.
2:00 in the morning.
Trade secrets.
That was too late anyway, because the paper was, there was an afternoon paper. But
it was already running.
Jimmy Theris was a real character, and he started the barbecue. And that, there was not that much barbecue in this town. when they started. And they put one over in St. Paul on
Randolph and Fairview.
Yes.
The old gas station.
Yes. And that was hot when it first opened over there.
And again, parking was a problem.
Yeah.
There were 4 spots. I mean, you could still park on Randolph or James. You couldn't really park on Fairview, but it was, I remember when that opened up, and it was, that was a block away from my house, so we wouldn't go there every week, but when we went there, that was good.
I don't know what the maximum number of stores they had. They might have had 3 in the Twin Cities, and I think they did some in other places too.
But didn't they have a commercial line too? Didn't they sell the Rudolph's barbecue sauce and the Lund's or Byerly's or wherever?
I think I still see it in the stores.
Yeah, it
Rudolph's.
Might
Maybe they're going to keep doing that. They might as well keep doing that. But yeah, they just pulled the plug. Boom. Well, I think part of the problem is, 35 and unders aren't eating big meat. They like smoke, certain kind of. And there's they like pork belly and crap like that. And
right, there's a competition for your dining experience has completely changed. The Champs is the Champs used to be, oh my gosh, they have this big blue cheeseburger, and everybody went to Champs in all their locations, and then these other restaurants started to pop up. This
is what amazes me about the Schmidt, what they're doing at the Schmidt's Brewery with this. It's going to open next month. It sounds fantastic, but where's the traffic coming from at noontime? There's not that much office people that far down on West 7th.
Well, but you're also placing the regular lunch crowd with the 3M crowd or the Travelers Insurance. Mm-hmm. Half these millennials are working from home because they're on their computers, so they just either leave the artist loft or. That's really neat, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go through the art crawl at Schmidt's Brewery.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one in there.
They open them up in the fall or the spring, and you can go in and see what they're doing, but it's really.
So is the Great Hall it's not the old Rathskeller. That was too small. So what level is this Great Hall going to be at this with all these restaurants?
I think that's going to be the one on the main level that's not open. And I haven't been in there yet, so
they're building
I don't know.
right now, and the newspapers have been reporting on what restaurants are going to be in there, and there's going to be a fine dining one in there too.
Well, and it's going to be you're going to have a whole bunch of those restaurants, but up and down West 7th.
Yes,
I mean what is it the truck stop one right by XL across from Moe's, the Worst Brewing Company or Beer and Worstwood. I haven't been there yet, but. They're just opening up their garage doors as doors, and it's like you're outside. And then in the winter, they close them up so they're fine. So it's really an outdoorsy. It's not really European.
I drove by the strip joint a couple days ago. Too bad to see that closed. The steak joint up there on top of the hill. But that talk about a crowded place. Wow, when they were going, well, that. You ate a steak in there. You had to keep your elbows in when you cut the steak, man. But it was good.
Ward 6 is another good one. But the new one that I really like on Payne next to Donald's, the uniform store, Brunson's Pub.
Oh, really?
Get over to Brunson's Pub, and it's one of those deals where it's these craft burgers and other things too. But it's so fabulous.
I think we ought to do our shows from when the Schmidt Brewery opens that day, whatever they're calling that place there. That food hall is going to be like Boston. It's going to be like Lexington Market. It's going to be fantastic.
Especially on a summer night, it'll be as festive as can be. Mm-hmm. That Schmidt Brewery is really cool.
I wish I'd drink a beer, but I just don't do that. So, but anyway, Rudolph's.
You can enjoy it with
Rudolph's closing after 43 years. That's a sad deal.
And when it's so quick
very
like
distinctive. Barbecue. I am shocked. Why don't they? It could be help too. They must be.
Yeah.
A lot of the restaurants right now are. I'm sure they told their people, "Hey, we're going to close in a month," and they all went and got jobs someplace else. They probably can't even wait on you.
But when it's so abrupt like that, that means at least they kept pushing, hoping that something was going to turn around, and then they finally just had to say, "We can't do it." And the pool of employees that you get to draw from right now, 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid does not want to be a busboy.
And the competition for waiters and waitresses is very, very fierce because it's full employment. You can tell when there's full employment when you go to various places.
Yes.
I'll just put it that way. You can tell when full employment is in case.
Well,
anyway.
and now those restaurant owners have that dark cloud of $15 an hour minimum wage, and it's a double-edged sword. The ones that want it for different reasons and the ones that don't want it for different reasons, it could really put a lot of those people out of business because you're going to need to sell a burger for $25.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Anyway, Rudolph's going done already. It's already done. You've eaten your last Rudolph's barbecue unless you make them yourself and put Rudolph's barbecue sauce on.
Your trio's going to have to find a new spot.
Yes, and I know who to blame, but I'm not going to mention her name.
And
yesterday at 3:00.
yeah,
Assuming that the entire Garage Logic show had been based on the humiliation that you foisted upon this station, rookie, with your dancing performance at the Kelly Ripa show, and apparently the mayor was oblivious and didn't know you'd done it.
Hey, they told him about it, from what I understand, and it was like the day you said, I have brain cancer and I'm going to die in 5 minutes, and Such said, what's coming up on the ride? It was one of those deals.
You know, that's a great analogy.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to us, and the mayor wasn't interested.
We need to background. It's on the 1500 ESPN Twitter account.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who took the video, first of all?
Somebody
in the audience?
The people at the Kelly and Ryan show.
So he goes out to New York, 25th anniversary for his marriage. You wuss. What are you trying to make us all look bad?
I really, if you look at my Facebook or Instagram, I'm really going to make you look bad.
He gets tickets to Regis and Kathy Lee, or whatever the hell it's called these days. And proceeds to embarrass us in front of the entire country.
That flaming dork Ryan Seacrest is on it now, right? Was he there?
He was there, and he was very personable. He talked to people. Yeah, Kelly was a little more.
I bet he didn't give you a firm handshake. I bet it was pretty soft.
No, but Royce, did you hear what he asked him?
He rubbed up against Michelle, though, so I wonder what,
Seacrest walked up to Rookie, and he says, wow, who does your hair?
But set the scene, because I want you to say what you told me yesterday when the selections were being called.
So Gelman gets out there before the show, and
we still got Gelman. He's older than me.
Gelman is the executive producer.
Regis was making fun of Gelman 40 years ago.
And Gelman, when you're a producer, you should try to, let the show host be the star, and you kind of be in the background. Gelman, I think, and I'm not speaking. Gelman wants it to be about Gelman as well.
Okay.
Oh, that reminds me of a couple of guys I know.
Gelman's telling everybody how it's going to be. He said, okay, do this, clap when we want, and then we need some dancers. So who thinks they can dance in the crowd? And one kid raises his hand. Okay, yep, come up here. Two gals raise their hand. Yep, come up here. And then nobody else is raising their hand. And my wife slowly turned to me as if to say, don't you dare. And I went,
the hand shot.
Basically,
that was the worst thing she could have done. Right?
I have kissed your ass for this 25-year anniversary and given you everything you wanted, but it's about me.
This is my time to shine.
But you don't get on TV. You just get to perform before the show starts?
Well, it's a dance-off.
Okay.
So, but wait a second. Yesterday when he described this to me. He said, I looked her in the eye and raised my hand.
I saw it in
You
her.
weren't exactly dressed like John Travolta.
I
You
didn't
had a
expect it.
damn pullover and a T-shirt on.
But I didn't expect to do it. I didn't
and
expect
jeans. You look like a hillbilly from South St. Paul.
Seacrest went, hey, this guy's going to change our oil when we're done.
Well, it was raining and it was cold in the studio, so I had a little windbreaker on. But yeah, she looked at me and I looked right into her eyes and just went, without words, yep. And she went, no. And
This is happening.
He said, come on down, you and the windbreaker boy. You get down here. So I went
So
down
then
there.
when now they
This was
they
prior
don't-
to the show.
They don't. It's freestyle. Anything you want to do, dancing wise. Or is it-
Correct.
Okay.
They want to see who can shake it, who's got some moves, who's fun to look at.
What was the music? What was the music
I have
being
no
played?
idea.
Was it? But it was like an upbeat, like a dance
do
kind
No,
of
it wasn't. It was really bad music to dance with.
It wasn't Drake, was it?
You didn't
No,
do
it
any
was,
splits, though. You didn't do the splits, from what I could tell.
No, but he did kick off the shoes so he could perfect the moonwalk.
Is this the music? This is the music. I can't dance to this.
It sounds like something from the 90s, actually.
Yeah, it's
This-
a remix.
It's like German
So,
industrial
Does
music.
Kelly and this guy still pack them in? Is the studio still full? Or
Yes,
ticket? Did you get tickets ahead of time or what?
Pat, it was my 25th anniversary. I called ahead for VIP tickets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
You use your influence here.
I used my influence.
As
yes.
the producer of
I-
a guy, I'm the producer of a show for a guy who's never heard of either of you.
That was, but I
Barely heard of Regis.
they bring 4 people down and they say go ahead and dance. And I was one of the first 2 out. I didn't make the
Really?
cut. Yeah, and I thought I did great because I moonwalked.
You were
I did
pretty
this
good.
deal. I did all that.
Right. But the
And then-
gals have an advantage. They throw that booty out there.
And Gelman's a
people get-
boss.
Yeah.
He said
You
you're
can't
done.
discount his booty.
Look at that booty right there.
Plus, he's got the
You know what? Hey, you know
I
what?
was going to do this move too.
You're gonna twerk.
It's morning. It's morning. Yeah. So I.
You know
couldn't
what?
really-
Hey, you know what lost you booty points? Metafast.
Yeah. I lost my
Metafast
booty.
cost you booty
I
points.
lost my booty.
Hey, so
they
who wanted to do this? Who wanted to go watch Kelly and Ryan? Your wife? Did she watch it?
Yes, she had expressed interest at some point if we ever go to or when we go to New York again, it would be fun to go see the show. And I jumped on that. Let's do this.
Because
for
my
the 25th.
bride used to watch Regis and Kathy Lee every morning, but that was 20 years ago. This I didn't know anybody watched this show anymore.
Oh, they're still pretty popular. They packed them in. There was lines outside in the rain.
Wow.
So we went through and then went through the motions. It was fun, and then we just kind of said,
Now,
okay, we're
when
done with it.
when you got back to your seat after being eliminated, A, she was happy, and B, what'd she tell you?
She's like, oh my gosh,
I know what she said. Nothing tonight, dear.
Well, the funny thing is that I had Gelman then was standing next to me after that. He just happened to be next to me, and I had. Now, don't give me crap for this. I had a ring in my pocket that I was going to, I was going to propose after 25 years,
Oh, my
that kind of
God.
stuff.
Oh.
A ring pop or what?
Please tell me you
That was
didn't
just
do
one I
that.
grabbed out of her drawer, and it was one she already had. But Gelman said, we're not going to have time to do that, so I couldn't do that on live
Thank
TV.
God. Oh, my
Otherwise,
goodness.
I'd probably be fired here.
Yeah. Well,
without
it
a
is.
doubt.
It is. So the mayor pulled that. What's coming up next? When we brought this
We
up
spilled
yesterday.
our guts. And Reavers is saying he danced. He was in New York. He was on Kelly and Ryan. And Joe said, run your clip, Kiplinger, or whatever the hell the guy, the
The
poet guy.
poet of If.
Yeah, Kiplinger's the poem. And then we just sat there in disbelief, and I said, really?
I just gave you 10 minutes of Holy Grail.
I gave you audio manna from heaven.
And then he did 90 minutes on how his taxes are too high.
That's a great analogy, though, when,
Oh, perfect.
when
Yes.
Pat says, yeah, I had my...
When I have pancreatic cancer, I'm going to the great capitals of Europe. What's coming up next on the ride?
What's coming up on the ride?
what are you doing next on the ride?
It is 3:57. What is coming up on the ride?
All right. Thank you for imposing into my private life, gentlemen, but we do have to go here.
You
Sports
should
Talk.
have seen Bruce. Well, you should have stopped and visited Bruce.
I was going to, Bruce, you were out there, right?
Where? I was half
He was
asleep.
in New Jersey, though. I was in Manhattan. He doesn't ever go to Kelly.
I don't go into that. Well, I don't want to say what I call New York. I try to avoid that place as much as possible.
All right. You sound weary. You worn out from this volatile week, Bruce?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
This is just normal.
Just my natural
humble.
Friday
He just watched
malaise.
the rookie video and he's completely perplexed.
I got that Berlin song running through my head.
That's what it is,
whoever
Berlin.
That was. I'm not sure that's who that was. But
Riding
I know
on the Metro
I
or
know the
something.
song. Is that the Metro? Is that what that song was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's give you a clean cutaway. We will be back with Sports Talk. Right now, we do have Bruce Vail with the Your Money Now report. Comes to us courtesy of Owatonna's own Federated Insurance, and he was picked 5th for the Trivia Dancer Contest, Mr. Bruce Vail.
Yeah, but they only had 4 in there.
Yeah, sucks to be last.
Stocks were lower at the close of trading today, ending the week on a down note. The tech sector once again weighing on the broader market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 76 points, closing at 25,451. The NASDAQ Composite dropped 114, and the S&P 500 lost 18 points. Shareholders of the Walt Disney Company and 21st Century Fox approved a $71 billion deal between the two companies, clearing another hurdle for a deal that will rattle the media and entertainment landscape. If the deal goes through, Disney will acquire Fox's storied film and TV studios, as well as its stakes in the British pay TV company Sky and the Hulu video streaming service. The Cheesecake Factory is usually the winner in unhealthy food rankings because of its cheesecakes, but this time the company is being called out for its breakfast burrito. The Center for Science in the Public Interest says the burrito with eggs, cheese, sour cream, and avocado has 2,730 calories and 73 grams of saturated fat. That's the equivalent of eating 7 McDonald's sausage McMuffins. But tasty. I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Okay, McMuffin, we'll turn you loose for the weekend and talk again on Monday. Thank you, sir. Checking traffic here. This report sponsored by your locally owned Domino's and northbound 35E. If you're fighting your way into downtown St. Paul, it's 17 minutes between 494 and 94. Westbound 694, 35W over to 100 already at 16 minutes. And westbound 94 between the downtowns, 21 minutes. And from the Fish Lake split up to 101, 18 minutes. Introducing Domino's Hills.
Music playing. You could have showed him some of that country music.
I would have been doing everything.
I forgot to tell you, Michael told us on Twitter, he tweeted at me, it's Blue Monday. That's the name of the tune that was playing in the background of your video.
Blue
you
Monday.
Want to find that.
Blue Monday was my dancing demise.
And again, the video is posted on the, what is the Twitter account?
1500 ESPN.
Okay.
Twitter account. It's front and center. You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Even though the mayor apparently missed it.
Yes, he did.
And if you want to see what I did, go to Instagram, GLRookie13, and plan your 25th wedding anniversary.
And speaking of Twitter, Royce and I are exchanging photos on Twitter
those are
of
so fantastic.
of our interior decorating plans at the Krabby Coffee Shop. I just sent you 4 photos,
Okay,
Patrick.
I'll look at them. Okay.
In fact, do it on the air so we can hear your reaction because they're all glorious. Twin starter Kyle Gibson was the story last night in their series opening 2-1 victory over the Red Sox in Boston. Gibson held baseball's highest scoring team to just 4 hits and 1 run over 8 innings, striking out 7. Mitch Garver continued his hot streak with a game-winning RBI double in the 8th. Fernando Rodney made things interesting in the 9th, but did earn his 22nd save of the season.
I hate to argue with you, but Gibson was not the story.
What?
Fernando was the story. Anybody watching?
I saw the 8th.
Sorry, I was in a heated battle with the
7th and
Webster
8th.
Sox.
More exciting than the Douglas County Fair. I'll tell you this. Fernando comes in. There's he gets two outs. There's 1 on. He walks the next 2 guys.
Yeah, it was
He's got
tense.
a 1-run
Classic
lead.
Eddie.
1-run lead. It looked like Eddie walking the plank in Oakland in 2002. And then he goes 3-0. He's going to walk in the winning run.
Yeah.
Then he strikes the guy out and shoots off the arrow, man. And that was the shakiest arrow ever. It was unbelievable. If the game would have meant a little more, it was really something. But they showed the Twins dugout. When he got to 3-0, there wasn't one guy in that dugout who thought he wasn't going to give up the lead at that time. He was the only guy in the field.
They had all urinated themselves.
Yes, right. It was unbelievable. Then he comes back and strikes him out on 3 pitches. It was hysterical.
I unfortunately didn't see the end of the game. I was painting my wife's toenails and watching The Bachelorette.
You guys got to help me out. I'm driving my wife crazy because every time Gibson pitches, I'm at her with, he looks like an actor. Who does he look like? I know he looks like an actor I've seen all the time. Now, I want you guys to really think about it, and we might need help from the listeners. There's an actor out there. I don't know his name. He's in a lot of stuff. He usually has kind of a silent power broker role, but he looks just like Kurt Gibson.
I see most movies. I don't.
Kyle,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kurt Kyle.
No, I'm trying to think of who he looks like.
Kurt's the guy that limped out and hit the home run against Oakland 30 years ago.
I wish you could just enter a guy's face into an app and say, tell me who he looks like.
Lance Lynn, by the way, will start opposite Red Sox ace left-hander Chris Sale. First pitch from Fenway's at 6:10.
No need to rush home, fellas. There'll be plenty of ball game left by the time.
Will.
No matter how bad traffic is, by the time you get home, there'll be plenty of ball game.
Your lineup is Polanco at short, Rosario in left, Dozier at second, Escobar DHing Mitch Garver behind the plate.
We give poor Joe the day off?
We did. Logan Morrison will handle those duties at first base, Erie Adrianza at third, Kepler in center, Grossman in right
Speaking
field.
of interesting finishes to ball games, the double play in Toronto that ended that game on Wednesday. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. The ball to Morrison. Absolute rocket. He goes whoosh like this, and all of a sudden it's in his glove. The most surprised man in the ballpark.
Did he have his eyes closed?
Yes, probably.
He might as well have had it. He had a large grin on his face when he looked and saw that the ball was in his glove.
News notes from today, the Minnesota Department of Corrections will close the industry building where a Stillwater corrections officer was
Too
killed
late.
by an inmate last week. One of a number of changes the state's prison system plans to make in the wake of the murder. DOC Commissioner Tom Roy laid out the plan change the day after Corrections Officer Joseph Gam was buried with full honors. Gam, a 45-year-old veteran officer from Blaine, is the first corrections officer in Minnesota to be killed in the line of duty. Edwin Muhammad Johnson, who is serving a nearly 29-year sentence for second-degree murder, is accused of stabbing and beating Gam to death July 18th in an industry building on the prison
Now,
grounds.
Royce, was it you that was telling me that Coles was onto this before?
Yeah, we had reports.
Yes.
He had 2-3 reports on
March.
KSDP in the last few months.
In fact, he
about
had
the security the breaches out there. that were
They had the
taking
disguised voice with the dark silhouette saying,
Really?
This is good. Someone will be killed as a result of this.
Wow.
Because what they're doing is they're taking, if you harm another employee, correctional employee, you used to be put away in solitary for 2 years.
Yes.
2 years you were in solitary confinement.
They called it the box. You were in there for 2 years.
And now it is
90
you're in there
days,
for
I think.
90 days, but they're going to sit down and say, Kenny, we want to work with you. And, you're doing better. You might be out in 30 days or 60 days or 90. So these guys are going to work the system saying, this guy that did this allegedly said one of these security guys is worth 90 days.
Wow.
To go crunch somebody or hit somebody.
But Cole said that when it was 2 years, those guys were
Well behaved.
frightened. Well,
They didn't want to
be there
because it's
for 2
23
years.
hours and you don't get any privileges. And now it's open season, and it's because of these euphorians that have said, we can revive these guys and reform them.
Officials searching for Molly Tibbetts, a University of Iowa student who has been missing for a week, say that they continue to follow up on every lead that they receive. Tibbetts' mother spoke, saying giving up hope is not an option for her. She described the moment she was told her daughter didn't show up for work. She said there were alarms going off immediately. Something's wrong here because Molly would not do that. Tibbetts was last seen going for a jog in eastern Iowa last Wednesday evening, according to a neighbor. Tibbetts was reportedly staying at her boyfriend's home at the time of the disappearance, helping to watch his dogs while he commuted to a construction job about 100 miles northeast of Dubuque, Iowa. The boyfriend said that a Snapchat photo was received from Tibbetts late Wednesday night after she would have returned to the home from her jog. He is not a suspect. Authorities are now focusing on her digital footprint, including monitoring her social media accounts and trying to access GPS data from her Fitbit. Minnesota Poison Control warns against ingesting campfire colorants.
Ooh.
There's a product official sworn.
That crap you throw in your fire to make blue and orange. Oh no!
What are they saying?
Don't eat those. They're not Pop Rocks.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to.
There's a product officials warn Minnesotans to use caution with. They're called flame colorants. If used correctly, these packets of crystalline powder turn normal flames various colors.
Yeah, I've used them.
But confusing packaging has led some to open the packets and instead of throwing them into the fire and swallowing the contents, causing severe chemical burns, according to the Minnesota
On your
Poison
insides. Oh, my God.
Even Gabriel Thomas, my son that will ingest anything, knows the difference between Pop Rocks and colored things for the fire.
Uh-huh. Hey, Kenny.
Yeah.
That's your girl Barbara Stanwyck, isn't it? Giving the finger?
Yeah, and Clark Gable on her left.
Yes.
In his in the 50s sometime.
That looks like the guy way over in the corner looks like Sean Connery, but that can't be.
No.
I like the
too
guy in
young
the
for
black
that.
truck the best, though, in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
I don't know who the two
he looks
guys.
menacing.
I don't know who the two guys on the outside are, but that's Stanwyck and Gable in the middle.
Doesn't the guy next to Gable look like Sean Connery?
Yeah,
But I don't think it is.
No, he was a kid in the 50s.
I'll take Who Raged for 400.
and then of course Carrie Fisher, who there's a million photos of her circulating. That was
she
her.
sees a camera. That's what she does.
That was her deal.
Wait, where am I looking
You
for
have to
this?
go to
at your-
tweets and replies on Kenny's account.
Oh, okay.
sir.
I'm on his Minneapolis traffic.
A quick update on a story we had earlier this week. The case of the kidnapped St. Cloud crocodile has now been solved. The crocodile is actually a 10-foot long, 160-pound stainless steel sculpture called Crocodile on display in downtown St. Cloud. St. Cloud. It went missing sometime last week. The artist, Dale Lewis, discovered it was gone. He offered a $2,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the felony. Lewis said that someone who saw a story about the art heist on the Star Tribune website called him Thursday night with an address where the crocodile could be found
Such's front yard.
5 or 6 blocks away.
Wouldn't it be fun to load that thing up and put it in Such's driveway?
I know where it is.
What the Sam Hill is this?
Is that another fox?
I know it's sort of like we put the stuffed fish and the mounted sailfish in Ashburner's car.
Oh my goodness!
And move the car.
Yes.
All right, let's take a break.
That's fine. I don't think so.
Oh, that was off the air.
We're getting some responses here for the decoration of the Krabby Coffee Shop. We got,
All more beautiful than the
we got
last.
Johnny Cash, and then there's some others. And if you're easily offended, you probably want to avoid them.
We've got Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
And
You think
somebody-
anyone easily offended is listening to us?
Somebody tell us who this chick is who's giving the crowd the finger here. Some guy down in the crowd there.
But you said the guy is Lemmy, right? From
Yeah.
Motorhead, Kenny?
Yeah, but
I
there's
think
two
it's a gal
pictures.
next
There's
to
a
it.
gal, too.
There's a gal there, too.
A Japanese startup is offering an unusual service for newlyweds to celebrate their love, launching wedding plaques into space.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dancing in public.
No, or on the Kelly and Ryan show. Whoa! Warp Space, a firm founded by faculty members from the University of Tsukuba, is offering a service that will print titanium plaques with the names of the newlyweds and load them onto a series of small cubes that each hold a few hundred of the plaques. The cubes will then be released into space by the crew of the International Space Station, and couples will be presented with photos snapped by the astronauts.
If you ever do this, you are not allowed within 100 yards of the Krabby Coffee Shop.
Rookie, why you're on the website
what
right
do you
now?
accomplish by having
you gotta
this
log
in
in.
space, by the way?
You get lucky that night. That's
Yes,
what
you
happens.
do.
Yeah, and how does she know you actually did it?
Well, you got a photo of it in space. That was the last sentence.
You know, sometimes these things are scams because, you know, the guy who bought me the brick
Yeah.
at the Viking Stadium
yeah.
that had 41 donut on it, they rejected it.
Oh, they did? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Because I had the 41, it was for the Viking, the walk-on, and we had one of the things is you know, Patrick, right? You could have a little message on there or something, and mine was 41 to donut.
Rook, you're going to need to pull up Google for this next story so that you can show the photo to Kenny and to Patrick.
Before we do that, Patrick, how about Mickey Mouse giving us the finger?
Fantastic.
Dave Johnson just sent me that. That's fantastic.
I never knew Mickey was that kind of guy.
He's got a big grin on his face, too.
A 6-month-old baby in Japan is already a full-fledged social media celebrity thanks to her impressively large and thick head of hair.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
The infant girl known as...
Have you seen that Tom Reed baby picture he carries around?
No, of him. He's got the big hair.
No, he's got the big... He's got the big swim... This is me when I was a year old. He's got the giant swimsuit hair.
The infant girl known as Baby Chanako on Instagram has amassed more than 140,000 followers on the photo sharing site.
Is that real?
Yeah, it is real. I verified it from several sites.
That's not real.
Can't be real.
BS.
Can't be real.
The baby's mother, who started the account when the girl was only 4 months old, said the child is already getting haircuts to thin out her somewhat heavy locks.
It looks like Bruce Lee in the 70s. It's a huge head of hair.
A British baby went viral at the age of...
You get some chops on that baby, you'll be able to...
Looks like the kid.
She does kind of have the Elvis in Vegas look going. Yeah.
You guys are going to love this one. This is my favorite story of the
You
week.
keep saying that.
I don't trust Japanese parents. They might do something just to get attention.
In fact, this might become a future employee of the Krabby Coffee Shop.
Glue that on her head.
A California Department of Motor Vehicles employee is in trouble after a state audit found she was taking 3-hour naps at work every single day for 4 years.
Wow, nice.
The unnamed data operator will reportedly not...
Wait, was she a security guard?
A California Department of Motor Vehicles employee.
Oh, almost a security guard.
The unnamed data operator will reportedly not be disciplined because the infractions weren't documented properly. She also may have a medical condition that prompted her to sleep at work. The Sacramento Bee reported that the employee's doctor told her employer, that she could not perform the duties of the job required back in 2016. The DMV responded by transferring her to her current role, but the naps didn't stop. Health issues, blah, blah, blah. The dozing amounted to 2,200 hours of work time between February of 2014 and December of 2017 and cost the state of California at least $40,000.
That's why my taxes are so high.
Kenny, listen to this. According to the Sacramento Bee's website, the employee processed an average of 200 documents a day, while her colleagues were able to get through 560 different documents at the same rate.
There's a clue right there.
We used to have, when I was a copy boy at the Star Tribune, they had Jim the Grinder Peterson was the guy's name. And Bob Sorensen named him the Grinder because he really wasn't as far as working. He was the outdoors guy, but he was supposed to be the makeup editor downstairs, and he would go home and come back and tell us about movies he watched on the clock. Drive home wherever it was, cook himself a big meal, and tell us about some movie.
Fall asleep in front of a movie, then go back into work and clock out.
What do you watch today, Grinder?
He was the outdoor guy, and he was supposed to have what they called 3 field days a year, and Sid would always schedule him in the office. And every day he'd say, Sid now owes me 314 field days. Beauty.
Speaking of Sid, Pat, who was the guy that he nicknamed the Iron Horse?
No, that was the gal that worked, one of our gals that worked on the support staff. He called her Cal Ripken Jr. because she'd show up about 2 out of 5 days. Oh, Cal Ripken Jr. is here today. That was great when he used to have his drive-by shooting. When he was at the top of his game, he'd walk down the hall and have an insult for everybody all the way down the corridor. But he's lost it now. He doesn't have
I feel honored to be personally insulted by the man. I used to take great offense at it, but now it's I've
why? What was your insult?
Royce invited all of us over to his house for a Tyson fight. Among 2 of the guests were Sid. The other one was Doug Groh, who that week or the week before had just written a scathing article about me and the guy I was working with at the time, Bob Yates. I mean, he raked us over the coals.
Just think,
and then a week later,
we used to think what you guys did was chancy.
Yeah. A week later, I'm in Royce's basement with Doug Groh.
Watching the fight.
And Sid, who just had everything that came out of his mouth was mean. It was a real inspiration to me, I got to tell you.
All righty, we better run here, gents.
Patrick, we do have a breaking news item that I forgot to relay to you during the sports update, but this just coming across from Major League Baseball trade rumors. It looks as though Eduardo Escobar is on his way to the Arizona Diamondbacks per Ken Rosenthal.
So they wanted Esky over Dozier, huh?
Apparently. It looks as though they're getting 3 minor league baseball players in return, none of which were in Arizona's top 10. So Eduardo
does that
Escobar.
help us or hurt the Twins?
That hurts for this season. I think it might hurt long term. Although he might be
He'll
out
be a
on the
free
market.
agent.
You might be able to sign him again.
Okay.
But I kind of thought that because Escobar can play second, short, and third. I kind of thought he might have more of a market than Dozier. They might be holding out for a better prospect for Dozier too.
Probably, and he also reports that they're getting a lot of interest in Kyle Gibson after his start last night in Boston.
Who are they going to play at third base?
Erie Adrianza was in the lineup at third tonight, and Escobar was supposed to be the designated hitter.
I don't know.
Okay. Esky's, I don't know. At third? No, I think that's who. No, who's on first?
Sorry. I couldn't resist. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I had to. What do you got coming on the ride?
I bet the big man's coming back. I bet the big man will be back.
Oh, good call.
Weekend.
Yep, good call.
We got coming up on the ride.
Breaking news.
Egan's Everyman is going to be announced. Our candidates for Egan's Everyman. This is that new thing where you try to pick out a hot prospect out of training camp.
All right, 1500 ESPN is KSTP St. Paul, Minneapolis. Friday version of the ride coming up next.